surpassed only by Sir Alex Ferguson.
As they would be.
Yes, we all know Alex Ferguson.
Yes. Named after the drink, the Ferguson.
Busby played in 2 FA Cup finals, winning one of them as a player. After his playing career was interrupted by the Second World War, he took the vacant manager's job at Manchester United, where he built the famous Busby Babes team.
As he would.
Alex Ferguson never would have done that, I tell you.
Nope. Busby, named after the video game, Busby.
In a total of 25 years with the club, he won 13 trophies.
As he would.
He died of cancer at age 84 on January 20th in Manchester.
That's being called very Busby action. You go to London and say that, they'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Right down at the cathedral?
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
On January 22nd, East beats West 9-8 in the 45th NHL All-Star Game at Madison Square Garden in New York City. That is all for this weekend. Oh, wait, nope.
No, there's a new category.
Miscellaneous.
You know what? Hold on. I screwed this up because, let's...
Two of the things in miscellaneous are actually sports. What the
No, we're fixing it. We're fixing it. Hold on. We're fixing this in post. All right. On January 23rd,
We're not.
Bernie Kosar. You see, you can listen to this live, people. Live.
No difference whatsoever.
Bernie Kosar becomes the second NFL quarterback ever to throw touchdown passes in AFC and NFC championship games. You guys don't. Do you
Huzzah.
understand how cool that is? That's pretty cool.
It's very cool. I'll take your word for it.
I've heard of
That's
Burning
dope.
Kosar, but yeah.
Yeah, all right. On January 15th, Hall of Fame defensive end Lawrence Taylor announced his retirement. That's the end of sports.
Way to end strong.
Now, there is a miscellaneous category because there are 2 things that happened this week I found that were pretty amazing. Well, not really amazing. What's the word I'm looking for? They were noteworthy.
Miscellaneous.
Thank you, Pantera, for the little throwaway. All right. First one being a Hague motorist was arrested with a 0.51% alcohol content in his blood, which broke the old Dutch record of 0.47.
Is this a thing where they
Challenge accepted.
This is why we never go drinking with one of those pocket breathalyzers.
Yeah, because that was.
Yeah, it sounds like a terrible idea. I'd probably die.
Yeah.
Fun with alcohol poisoning.
I actually somebody had one of those at the bar, and one night I decided I wanted to see how high I could go, and I got up to like a 0.21, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
I'm out.
Thing. 0.51. Holy shit.
0.51. That's insane. And apparently he was driving.
Apparently.
As you do.
Right.
And then the other thing of note this week was on the 17th, a magnitude 6.7 earthquake occurs in California, causing damage in Los Angeles, Ventura, Orange, and San Bernardino counties, with the most severe damage in the San Fernando Valley. 60 people were killed, more than 7,000 injured, 20,000 homeless, and more than 40,000 buildings were damaged. Collapsed overpasses closed sections of freeways all over California, and the total damage was over $30 billion.
I
So
can't.
this- Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I can't imagine being 0.51% alcohol, much less being a 6.7 earthquake.
Imagine if you had both.
Well, this was the same week that it was negative 17 as a high in Chicago. And people are like, how can you live anywhere where it's that cold? And the answer is that. The 6.7 earthquake.
I go down to Florida with my in-laws every now and then, and I'm like, oh, why don't I live down here? Oh, because the ocean doesn't try to kill me in Chicago.
Yeah, hurricanes are a bitch. That's very true. But
all right,
those
I'm
winters
looking
are
up
brutal.
blood alcohol content 3.0 to 5.0. Symptoms are complete unconsciousness, depressed or absent reflexes, subnormal body temperature, incontinence, and impairment of circulation and respiration.
So this man's driving around comatose, shitting his pants.
No, wait. It gets better. Death may occur at 0.37% or higher. BACs of 0.45% and higher are fatal to nearly all individuals.
Oh, nice.
Except
So-
this dude.
If he was driving around during the earthquake, though, nobody'd notice.
He's driving perfectly straight somehow.
Right.
How is he keeping such control? All right, so
Holy crap! And it's not even the anywhere near the highest BAC ever recorded.
Seriously, what is the highest?
Highest was a dude in Wrocław, Poland, who was
woo, go Poland!
he was
Represent.
Represent.
he got in a car accident. His BAC at the time was 1.480.
Holy crap.
Oh my God.
A coworker told investigators that the man funneled pure grain alcohol he obtained from his place of work, a chemical plant. He survived that BAC record, but died later from wounds sustained from the accident.
Woo! Let's hear it for Belvedere vodka right there.
Jesus.
Jesus. I can't even imagine.
It's like 1.5.
Oh.
0.08 is illegal, and he's at 1.5.
It's almost triple the amount of BAC that's supposed to kill you.
Yeah.
Holy
God. I mean, you are flammable at that point.
You are pretty much.
Flame on.
Oh God, man, that'd be. I'm really glad that all the times that we've gone out together, specifically one event at in Milwaukee, that I'm glad we didn't have one of these breathalyzer things, because that would have been the death of all of us.
Although I would have liked to have known what Mike's BAC was when he was at the hospital.
All right, all I'm saying is it takes 17 Jaeger bombs to take me down. All right. There is an amazing story that involves a homeless man being paid $20 to carry me back to the hotel. But that was a long time ago. And before winter, which is what we're talking about now. But not before winter.
That was a interesting segue.
Isn't it?
So yeah, we're talking the main show about the season of winter just in general. We've done holidays, but it's getting colder. We're past Christmas. This is going to go up after New Year, but we're recording it before. So we are in the throes of the long, gray, cold suck that is the post-Christmas winter.
Yes. Because you don't have Christmas to look forward to, so you can't go, well, it's cold, but at least I have Christmas. Let's see what right now, what's the temperature outside? 32 degrees. It feels like 32 degrees because we have wind chill.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Last week it was pretty brutal.
Last week was bad. Yes, it was. But then at the same time, when I went up to my in-laws for Christmas, it was like 60.
Yeah, and raining.
Right. But you know what? I don't care because it was 60. It was able to walk out in jeans and a t-shirt. So here's a question across all of you. Do you like winter?
Fuck no.
No, not even in the slightest.
It's a lot more tolerable down here in Houston than it was up in Chicago. I'll tell you that.
Shut up.
But I will say though that winter in Chicago is honestly the number one reason why I don't live in Chicago anymore.
It sucks.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it anymore. It's awful. It is soul crushingly awful.
Yeah, I won't lie. This morning, I walked into work. I was all right, and I took a left and stepped onto Wacker Drive, and that wind hit me. And goddamn, if I didn't scream, it's terrible.
Well,
Go ahead.
There was one time when I was working at the claim company on 900 Michigan, and it might have actually been that winter of '94 we talked about in the Twee. I'm not 100%. It was sometime around there. It was one of those years, one of those winters, and we were just dead in there. And so we were all standing up against the window looking down over the traffic on Michigan, and the wind came across the lake so fierce it grabbed this lady, picked her up, and slammed her into the building and broke her leg, and they had to get an ambulance and pick her up. Everything. It's like that winter wind in Chicago is no joke.
Well, I remember when I was working downtown right off of Lake Street, and it was during the winter, it was one of the cold days, and I walked outside, went around the corner of a building, and the wind literally had me walking at like a 45-degree angle just to be able to walk forward. It was ridiculous.
All right. So what is the coldest you remembered ever getting when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, I grew up here in Houston as well, so that
So like 50.
I know.
I remember one time it snowed and it was like half an inch on the ground, and we made like little foot tall snowmen was the best we could do, and that was probably
time to get my parka out.
Where's the salt trucks?
I never had a thick winter coat until I moved up to Chicago.
No, you had socks.
We're not going down that.
We are going there eventually. So I'm probably the only person that remembers 1979.
I have vague memories, even though I was just a toddler, of the snow drifts being up so high that they had to carve paths through, and it was walls of snow that my mom had us walking through, and I don't remember why.
All right, so 1979, the winter that was so bad that Smashing Pumpkins wrote a song about it. 89.7 inches of snow were recorded, which is about just shy of 7.5 feet.
Is that what that song is about?
Oh,
Okay, you got me. You got me, Mike.
I try.
Well, and that 7.5 feet is like the fall in total. When you're talking drifting up, you're talking like 15 feet.
Yeah. When you talk about like a corner, or in our case, we were one of the houses in the condo area that we were in that had like the garages and our door, so we were the 90-degree angle there. Open the door, total snow. The average temperature in 1979 winter was 18.4 degrees, though in 1985, the wind chill temperature on January 20th was recorded at 80 degrees below zero.
I have 2 words for that. Fuck that.
Yeah, that is
Below
asinine.
zero.
And to think about how people settled in this area, like back when they were living in log cabins and
I know.
fur and shit, and like teepees and stuff. Like, how do you live through that?
And we're not even the worst in the Midwest.
No.
Minnesota has, I think it was either Minnesota or Tulsa, Oklahoma, had this crazy highest recorded temperature variance from highest to lowest, fastest drop, lowest temperature, like all of these records set around the same week.
Well,
I spent a month in the middle of Oklahoma one month, and man, it was a January, and it was brutal. How cold it was almost as cold, if not colder, than any winter I'd ever spent up in Chicago.
Well, nothing to stop it out there.
right.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was just whipping you right in the face.
Yeah, in 1982 in Minnesota, there was the maximum recorded 24-hour change in temperature of 71 degrees.
Oof.
Just,
I got a cold.
God damn.
Well, I grew up in Kansas City, and we there's a lot of hills there. It's not real flat, at least in Kansas City proper. If you're out, obviously in the farmland, it's flat. But I remember it would get pretty deep and relatively cold, but it was never like this. Our biggest problem was it would have a temperature drop enough that it would rain and we'd get ice storms. So I didn't deal with the heavy snows and the super cold weather as much as I dealt with sheets of ice on everything, to the point where it knocks trees over, power lines are knocked down. If you're driving, I mean, it's literally driving on a sheet of ice. And that's how I learned to drive, which prepared me for anything else I could ever deal with in this life. But living on a hill that was.
Explains why you're such a shitty driver.
I'm an awesome driver. In the winter, I lived on a hill on my house, and so I'd have to park the car at an angle with the wheels tilted in order so it wouldn't slide down, and it would still every once in a while slide down into the street overnight because it was just a sheer sheet of ice everywhere, and it sucked.
Now, I'm going off of that thing. When I lived in Kennesaw, Georgia, for a year, and that was a year that they got snow. And what you were talking about initially, I was like, no big deal because they shut down everything, and they got like a quarter of an inch of snow. It was amazing. I'm not joking because it was like I was like, all right, cool. There's a quarter of an inch of snow. I'm from Chicago, no big deal. Yeah, there's some hills. I know how to drive in this. Got to the grocery store, and there was no milk, there was no bread, there was no bottled water. Like the entire aisle was empty except for Water Joe. Nobody wanted that shit. And I went to the cashier. I'm like, "Where is everything?" It's like whenever it snows, people freak out and bought up everything in the grocery store because they thought they were going to be snowed in.
Oh my God!
And a quarter inch. Now, part of the reason I realized why people freak out was because in Georgia they don't have salt silos. They don't salt. They throw sand down. So they have no way of melting the snow, whereas we have like a salt silo every other exit up here. They had no salt, so they would just throw sand down, and people would still like going down a hill, didn't know how to brake, would slide and crash into shit. So
I mean, I guess I understand why, because it's not really effective financially to have those there, because how often did you use them? But that's crazy.
it's back when I was working at a church and telling the kids, like, yeah, back up in Chicago, we have big halls full of salt. And they were like, no, man,
As far as the eye can see,
nothing but salt.
salt for days.
Lots of high blood pressure.
So, Josh, what about you, man?
What about me?
What about you? 79, 80, 85. Do you remember any of this?
Well, yeah, I said I started us off with a vague recollection of the well over my head snowdrifts with a tunnel carved through the center.
You're entirely correct. I must have blacked out. So outdoor activities. Did you do anything outside, or did you even go outside?
There was something in my family that was something of a tradition. Our house had a parking slab. Like if you were to go behind the house and pull in through the alley, you could put one car on just a slab of concrete. Well, that thing would get heavy snow every year. And my dad would always shovel all of the snow from the slab and the sidewalks into the same corner of the yard. So there would always be a corner of the yard where there was a pile of snow up to and over the edge of the fence. And as kids, we would use that as our sledding hill, but also we'd carve a tunnel into it. Which, I'm sure it was incredibly unsafe. But carve a tunnel that we could climb through and go in and out completely under the little hill.
Snow tunnels are the shit.
Yeah, and some years we'd carve out a little room, like under the tunnel, like in the middle of the tunnel under the hill.
Nice.
Polar bears.
I've never done that. We used to go sledding a lot when I was a kid. We had several different, places to go sledding. In fact, I have a scar on my hand that I got when I was a kid from sledding because of an awful, awful accident involving a small child in a snowsuit that couldn't get out of the way quick enough.
Oh no.
My
Was
dad.
that child Matthew?
No, surprisingly, it was not my brother for once. We used to go sledding on this hill that was right off of Route 55. No, 53, which is, I always get it confused. Which is the highway and which is the expressway?
220, 221, whatever it takes.
Whatever. All right. So, it was like off of a little group of little bundle of houses, and we would sled. And one of the things that I remember about this is you guys know of my father's ability to hurt himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my father touching a ladder will invariably wind up with him having some sort of head injury. He went sledding, and the things that he liked to show off was how fast he can go down the hill and how he can go down the hill standing up. Right. One of the things that I remember is him going down the hill, hitting the little gully, the drainage ditch, hitting that at full speed because he, instead of going straight down the hill, he hit like a 45-degree angle and winding up right on a state highway.
Oh my God.
It was like he hit the gully, woo, right up in the air, slapped on the highway, and like went right across the street. For a brief moment there, I thought I was going to be a half orphan, but
So it's just straight out of Christmas Vacation.
Pretty much.
He did it for real.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And when I was thinking about this show over the last week, I was thinking about things that happened when my dad was. How did my dad injure himself during the winter? We used to live in a condo, which was awesome when I was a small kid because we never had to shovel because they had the teams that would come out and shovel for us. But the problem is that this 1979 year was so cold that the exhaust on our house, on the condo, got iced over. You know those little square vents that you have on the roof of your house. That got iced over, so my dad took it upon himself to grab a ladder, which is the first mistake, and climb on the roof, which is the second mistake. In the winter, third mistake, to chip off the ice. Fourth mistake. We used to own a VW bus. It was classic cream-colored top and orange bottom.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it was awesome. I wish we had it back again.
My dad had one too.
It's a great vehicle.
Yep.
The thing is, with ours, there was an ass-shaped dent in the roof because my father climbed up on the roof to chip the ice off the exhaust vent from our heater on the roof of the condo that we were in, lost his footing, slid down the roof, off the roof, and landed ass end first on the hood of the car.
See, I saw that coming, which is why as soon as you said the VW bus, I said, uh-oh.
Yeah. There was an ass-shaped dent in the hood of the VW bus until we got rid of it. And the other thing that I remember is the driveway being so slippery. Like we all got in the bus, sat there. Dad would walk around the front to walk around to the driver's side. He got halfway across and then just disappeared.
You.
Pretty much. He slipped, hit the ground, and then slid completely under the car and popped up behind the car. So,
well, living on a 45-degree hill, there was a shared yard with our neighbor, and so we used that as our sledding hill half the time. And my brother liked to build up these ramps. He'd get a board out of the garage or two. He'd build up a snow ramp. He'd put the board on it. He'd pour water on it to make it iced so it was slick, and you'd go from the top of the hill down, hit the ramp, down, hit the ramp, down to the bottom of the hill. And at the bottom of the hill was the street. So typically you'd try to stop before you hit the street. Well, I pulled one of these like your dad did on more than one occasion where I would not be able to stop and I'd slide out into the street and hope that there was not a car coming at the time. And then just a couple blocks away, we lived down the street from a park called Westwood Park. Notorious in the Kansas City state line area for being one of the best sledding hills. So growing up, I was like, I don't know, maybe 3 blocks away from it. And it would be jam-packed all the time when the winter would hit, when the snow would come. And we would go down there and go up to the top of the hill, go down, and as it got colder out and it started to refreeze the stuff that had kind of melted, they would have these plows come through and kind of push some of the excess stuff off, and their tire treads from the plows would freeze. And so I remember very distinctly going down the hill one time. There was a little kid walking across. I was able to turn the sled to its side so I didn't hit him, but I proceeded to hit ass first on one of these tire treads that was frozen, and basically raked my ass all the way down the entire tire tread, and had a huge series of welts on my ass for, I don't know, a couple weeks after that. But it was an awesome hill, and I hate the winter, but I always like going sledding.
It's funny you guys are talking about sledding because we owned the standard wooden sled with the red runners and what not, but we never used it because it didn't go fast enough. Instead, we grabbed what would now be considered semi-valuable antiques, these Coca-Cola tin serving trays.
Ooh.
And we get on the Coca-Cola tin serving tray at the top of the hill, and those suckers would fucking move.
When I worked in Naperville, we used to steal trays from the McDonald's and go sliding down on those things.
It's the best way.
And it was, I won't lie, it was terrifying, but thrilling at the same time. Wait,
Pat's like, we never had enough snow.
I've never been sledding in my life.
what? How could you have never been sledding? You lived in Chicago for how long?
Like 14 years.
And never been sledding.
No, never went.
We should have taken him tobogganing, which is like sledding if you want to die.
One word: socks.
Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there.
No, I mean that's why he wouldn't go sledding.
Did you ever build, snowman? Did you build a snowman?
I have built a snowman before a couple times.
Is this like Phil Snowman?
I don't know what that means.
I think Phil Snowman was the bassist for Soggy Banknotes.
Oh, that's good callback, Joel. Good on you.
That was Josh. Thanks, Josh, for saving me. Yes, we used to try, but it never seemed like there was enough snow for it. At least in Kansas City, because you'd get like the base, and then you'd run out of snow, so you'd have like this little tiny top with a couple sticks in it.
You got a snow woman with a lot of junk in the trunk.
Yes.
I was always ridiculously traditional about snowmen. Like, there's only one correct way. It had to be the three balls making, the base, the body, and then the head.
If you don't do it right, it won't come to life.
Right. And you had to have buttons that were made out of coal, eyes that were made out of coal, and then a carrot for the nose. And then you put a scarf and a hat on it.
Happy birthday.
I was probably somebody who would give you seizures then, because
And you strap an onion to its belt.
that was the style of the time. Disclaimer, I was a weird kid. I used to get spray bottles and put water and food coloring in them. And I would go out. My masterpiece was doing Opus the Penguin from Bloom County in snow, and I would take the spray bottles and color it.
That's awesome.
There's a picture of it somewhere, probably in a box in my parents' house somewhere. But I used to do snowmen, I guess, and then like Opus and that sort of thing, and then spray down the black and the white, and well, not the white because everything was white, but like the red tie and that sort of thing, and used to color them and that sort of thing. So
that's amazing.
It's not amazing.
I think it is. That's cool.
Kind of cool, but
No dork.
Did you just coin the phrase snow dork?
Hashtag snow dork.
Oh, I thought that was the snowman he built, just a giant snow penis.
Right. With a carrot in his crotch.
God damn, that's a snow dork.
Why does the snow penis have another penis of its own?
That is a snow penis.
That's a Swedish snow dork.
What?
So talking about balls at your face,
Swedish chef making snow pieces.
snowball fights.
Dork.
Oh God. Lost Mike.
Snow dork. My living with my brother, which you guys know my brother, snowball fights was a unnecessary violent activity.
A way to show dominance.
Right, because he would wait until he could, either stick them in the freezer until they froze, intentionally, or until it was wet enough out that they would refreeze into these hard
Ice balls.
Right, with sometimes with items inside.
Ice balls are illegal.
And he would chuck them at me, of course, until I either tried to stop, in which he would tackle me to the ground and wrestle me, or until I tried to snowball fight back, and then he'd get pissed off. But yeah, I never liked snowball fights. I still don't like snowball fights. And the only snowball fight I think I ever witnessed that I enjoyed was the one that involves
Snowball
socks.
fight.
The massive snowball fight on campus, the second winter we were all there. Well, it was second for me and Joel.
1993.
Would have been 94.
94.
Yeah.
All right, so let's set the situation.
Yep.
We may have done this on the show before, but it's worth talking about again.
No,
It's been at least 50 shows since the last time we talked about this.
It's
So
not worth
point.
talking about.
setting the picture.
Mm-hmm.
There has been a huge amount of snowfall on this 1 block by 1 block college campus. Everybody is out having a snowball fight except for 4 security people who are out there going, all of you should return to your dorms, and then getting pelted with snowballs. Patrick, the resident Texan, decides that he's down with this and he needs to get in on this snowball fighting action. He, of course, goes back to his cache of snowware, which includes...
This is all allegedly, by the way.
No, it's not.
Allegedly about this. There were 23 people that witnessed this.
At least.
No underwear, socks that he had been wearing being used as gloves, and
Jeans.
hypothermia immediately after.
Yeah, I remember he was wearing jeans. He had boots on. Again, if I recall, they were cowboy boots.
You know, cowboy boots in the snow.
Pat, were you wearing your leather jacket?
Yes, he had his brown leather jacket on. And then all I know is that we wound up back in the dorm floor. He was sitting in one of the couches on the in the middle of the hallway, shaking uncontrollably. And we're trying to figure out
Didn't
what to
James
do.
Sharp call attention to the fact that I was shivering in my bedroom? In our
Yes.
bedroom?
I do recall that now. I remember James Sharp coming into the hallway and going, I think Pat is dying of hypothermia. You were completely soaked from head to toe. It was maybe 20-degree weather outside.
It's pretty cold.
It was pretty damn cold.
So James Sharp saved my life.
Aw.
Aw. So, yeah. Then what?
Well, we had to strip him down.
Yeah.
That's
we had
right. Get his wet clothes off of him.
I just remember, 'cause I don't remember who it was doing it, but somebody trying to undo his pants and unzip them, and he kept hitting their hand trying to knock it away.
That was me. Because
Okay.
everyone was like, you're the RA, man. You're the one who has to take his pants off. And he was like, and then, of course, after we got his pants off, covered him up in blankets, then he's like shaking and shivering, going, I'm the naked guy sitting in the chair.
Yep, covered with blankets with no clothes on in the middle of the dorm floor.
Yeah, that's about the time we knew it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that he went out, took off his socks and used them as gloves.
Allegedly.
While inventive, not very bright.
And
Allegedly.
No,
Because
there's
all-
no.
There
have
were
two
20 plus-
witnesses.
I don't know what that word means, so I'm just going to keep it using.
So we want to move on to talking about skiing.
have any of you been skiing?
Yes.
Yes.
I will never go
cross
again.
country.
I hate skiing.
So downhill.
I went one time. I'm not supposed to ski because of when I broke my leg when I was younger, but I went one time. I enjoyed it.
What might surprise you guys is while I don't do downhill skiing, for years in high school, I did cross-country skiing.
Right on.
My family, aside from me, were all big skiers. My brother went, my dad, my mom. I was not about the skiing. I didn't go on the ski trips, but to try and just get involved, my brother, my dad, and I all got cross-country skis. And I didn't mind it so much. I didn't so much like when we had to go downhill because I never felt in control.
Yeah, that's why I hated it. That's exactly why I hated it.
I have done nothing but cross-country skiing.
Hmm.
To the point where my father kept trying to, when I was younger and I had better eyesight, my father kept trying to talk me into, you know what, if you could just get your shooting down, you can be part of the biathlon, trying to get me to go to the Winter Olympics. But I'm like, no, I'm not
Oh
doing
my gosh.
Which is just such a strange sport.
it. Oh,
What?
skiing and shooting?
Oh,
Yeah.
Ski,
Well,
ski, shoot.
Well, the thing is, cross country skiing is a huge workout. I mean, that is
Right.
that is like all your muscles working at the same time, and little by little, it winds up with your body just starts breaking down at the end.
Right.
So
I'm not saying I don't understand the challenge. I just don't understand the pairing.
Oh, Bond villains have to be trained somehow.
Josh is
It's like a henchman training school. They just recruit all the biathletes.
there. You go.
Pat's a biathlete.
Not anymore.
I was gonna say you're half right.
I'm not an athlete anymore.
So, but no, we used to do cross country skiing all the time, and I honestly, I've never been downhill skiing, and I don't think I ever would enjoy it. I love cross country skiing. Just see a
That's
lot.
just interesting that half of us were cross country skiers.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to this food and drink at your house. Was there a traditional winter meal that you guys had at your homes?
Well, eggnog, of course. My mother and I were the only ones in our family that liked eggnog, and my sister has recently acquired a taste for eggnog. So I've actually started making my own eggnog every year.
Nice.
I don't think we did, honestly. I don't remember everything excuse me, specifically that we had food or drink wise in the winter versus any other month. I
What
know
about
my
hot
mom-
chocolate?
Good point. I mean, when we used to go ice skating every once in a while, which again I also hate and sucked at, I used to get the the cup of soup in the vending machines. Instead of people are drinking coffee and hot chocolate, I'd have a cup of soup. So I guess that kind of counts.
Vending machine soup?
Yeah, like they had you could get like a thing of where you get the coffee and the hot chocolate. They had
a cup of soup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
they
can
had
do
like
chicken
a-
soup instead.
I saw the coffee and never looked back.
well, yeah, I'm that way now.
This is- that is like the summation of Mike's life right there. I saw the coffee and I never looked back.
I remember growing up on the Swiss Miss packets of the hot chocolate, which I still drink to this day. But I also, as I have mentioned in previous episodes, I grew up in a heavily Hispanic area. So I also grew up on the Mexican hot chocolate, which you've got these tablets that are about, I don't know, half-inch thick that can be broken into 6 pieces. And you melt the tablet in hot milk. And it's kind of a dark chocolate with a bit of like chili powder in it as well. It's a lot darker and a lot spicier.
Sounds good.
It's a lot more work, but it's awesome.
Nice.
I don't know if I've ever had that.
I've made that before. It's like with the cooking it in the saucepan and that sort of thing. It's really good, but I haven't done it on a regular basis. For us though, chili. My mom would make chili all the time in the wintertime. Chili.
My dad traditionally made a big pot of chili every winter. Yeah.
I think chili was an all-around, like all seasons food for us.
And of course, black-eyed peas and corned beef on New Year's Eve.
Wait, what?
Black-eyed peas and corned beef on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we talked about this when we did the New Year's show a couple years
Yep.
back.
Huh.
That's a traditional Irish
Well,
that kind of caught on in a bunch of other cultures.
Yeah, whereas somehow I didn't get any of the Irish traditions, but ended up picking up all the Polish ones from the Polish side of my family. I don't have any in my blood, but my aunt, who was the closest aunt on my mom's side to our family, they lived across the street from us when I was very little. We picked up a lot of the traditions, so pickled herring, etc.
and Josh has just been replaced by a robot.
Oh, did you guys miss all of that?
No, we heard
I mean,
it.
we can make it out. You
can
were
make it out, but you obviously
talking
were a
about
robot.
hiring and things like that. So.
Yeah.
Weird.
So what about getting dressed? Did you guys have the Ralphie's brother type of thing where you couldn't put your arms down, or what was your basic? Now, Pat, you're probably like what, a members only jacket and ball cap?
Meh.
Pair of shorts and flip flops.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, no flip flops, but yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, yeah, I mean, my mom had the full one-piece snowsuit, but when I got older, I had the like the pants with the suspenders on them, and then the winter coat over it with the hat, and thick gloves. Yeah, snow pants. So the zip zop when you walked, and of course moon boots, which I wore all the time.
Oh, I forgot about moon boots.
Moon boots. Those were the best.
Even when I didn't need to, I wore them.
Did anyone else have the mittens with the little clips with a bit of elastic in between them, where one clip would go onto the mitten and the other would go onto the sleeve, so you couldn't lose your mittens?
Yes. Yes, I had that, and then there was
Or the ones with a string going from mitten to mitten. You just
Did that go with your
yank
helmet
out
or what?
one arm and they slap themselves in the face with the other one.
Stop hitting me.
I never had that. I always had the clips. And
Yeah, I remember my clips had kittens on them,
Oh my gosh.
probably because of the nursery rhyme.
Kitten mittens.
Yes.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yep.
I was going to go with pussy clips, but that's
I'm smitten. Whoa.
Wow, things got
so shoveling and cleaning up the snow. You guys have to shovel. Pat, you're excluded from this one. As a kid, shoveling the driveway.
I don't remember ever shoveling. I don't. And I don't know whether I just didn't do it or whether I just blocked it out from my memory. But I remember icing, like throwing salt down every once in a while. But yeah, I don't remember shoveling until I got my own place.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my chores, was to shovel, and we didn't have standard snow shovels. We had really wide snow shovels, and we had cement shovels. So, like, the ones that you buy now, which I guess were even common then, those were not a thing in our house. You either had super wide or the ones that... And you know what? I've come to appreciate having cement shovels for snow shoveling. It's a lot more work, but those suckers can chip through ice.
Yeah. I remember playing with the almost like a hoe. It was like instead of having the curve at the end, it was just like a blade to chip off the ice off the driveway and that sort of thing. Now, here's another thing. Speaking of cleaning up the snow. Was any one of us the ones who did the naked snow angel?
No.
That was
Ookie.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I was a little kid, I did snow angels, but I don't know. That probably stopped when I hit 11 or 12 and realized that it's awesome while you're doing it, and then you have to stand up and it sucks.
Yeah.
I was the one that gave him the dare to do it, but
Right.
it wasn't.
Okay. So somewhere up there's a man of the cloth who did a naked snow angel.
Yes.
That's awesome. What about, did you guys have any traditions for the winter? Or a winter vacation?
My father used to always set up a village every winter, like one of
What do
those
you
little, the little ceramic houses with the trees and the people and everything, and you can set up all the different scenes and the different whatever.
Damned.
Yeah, my mom had the same thing, and I hadn't thought about it till you mentioned it.
Yep, my dad would set that up almost every year.
Huh.
My mom used to get excited about the holidays and Christmas coming up. I remember in June, she got a hold of these. Now, in concept, they're really cool. They're these little soldiers, little tin soldiers, and they have a mallet and a bell on either side. But in June, they're not so awesome because when you plug them in, they start playing like the Carol of the Bells, and they twist to the left and the right to play them. Tradition for us was immediately after Thanksgiving, starting to decorate for the holidays.
And hanging the carcass up, of course.
Well,
Heck
that
yeah.
was Thanksgiving, Pat. Don't mix up your...
He said after Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Thanksgiving and the hanging of the carcass. Realizing that there's a lot of people out there that have no damn idea.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a callback that you probably have to have listened to the show almost from the beginning, because Thanksgiving was, I think, our first holiday show.
Yeah,
That one might only be on TalkShoe right now.
Yeah, go check that out. And you'll find out about my family and hanging of dead things in trees.
He's not talking about Matthew, thank goodness.
No,
He's not dead though.
All right, so we about milk this pony dry.
Yeah, I think so. Although I noticed you said, did you have a winter vacation? And we didn't always every year. But when we shifted from going to like the Disney type stuff or going to California or Arizona to see family or friends and started to do winter vacations instead of summer vacations, that was when I started traveling to Mexico.
Squirt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was.
We used to drive from Houston to up to Hannibal, where my grandmother lived, every other year for Christmas.
So you go from warm to colder.
Yep.
We used to go.
I wasn't inexperienced with snow. I just, wasn't natural to it.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
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 Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's like a bag of sand.
There must have been some magic in that old silk bung he found.
I mean, that would work well.
Winter vacation would simply be going to families, primarily to Nebraska, because that's where my grandma, aunt, uncles, and cousins lived. So we would travel there for Christmas break for a week or so every year. But other than that, I mean, it was mostly just hanging out at home and being a bum for winter vacation.
Okay. Well, are we ready to head to the break? And then we'll talk about how winter has changed from Christmas magical wonderland to cold gray ball of suck.
Yes, let's do that.
It's beginning to look a lot like hell no.
Winter is coming. Winter has come.
Gosh.
Winter needs to clean up.
On aisle 7. All right, we'll be back in a bit.
Wow. I need to pee.
Yeah, I'm going to grab a drink and be right back.
I'll be back.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Fucking snow.
Just making sure we're not all back getting muted.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Oh. Warrior needs food badly.
Hmm.
And by warrior, I mean me.
Thought you were the elf.
Half elf, bard.
Hmm.
The heck is that?
Pretzel stitch.
No, this.
What?
This movie.
Nom, nom, nom.
It looks like Death Race 2050 that we were going to do a show on comes out on DVD and Blu-ray on January 17th.
Hmm.
Is Pat back? Or is Pat still MIA?
I'm here.
He's here. No, he's not.
No, he's not. Okay, I'm not. I lied.
No, he's not here.
Be ashamed of yourself.
I usually am.
I think John Travolta's career has gone back into the pooper.
Yeah, you think?
Just looking at some of these movies coming out with him.
John Travolta movies.
Yeah. Kind of like Nicolas Cage. Which is
Not
unfortunate.
The bees, not the bees.
Punch the bear.
Sort of new movies does this guy have coming out?
We're talking about the Wicker Man remake. Considered one of the great horror films of its time to one of the worst horror films of its time.
And its sequel, The Wicker Dippleman.
Which didn't happen.
Except in our hearts.
Right. It will always be in our hearts.
And our pants.
Now
I was
push.
thinking that.
Sorry. I wouldn't.
Nipple man. He's made of wicker and he's got nipples.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's got it. Or that. Could have said that.
Thank you for Josh for adding that.
Someone had to say it. Oh, that was an ant. That's awesome.
Dead ant.
I, for one, am glad that the kids were here to hear Josh's belch.
Around here. All right.
Alrighty then.
On that high note,
If ever there was a time to start.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Winter sucks. That's what we're just.
We get back to the now, and we're just like winter. No.
No.
I don't know. I'm doing all right down here. It's like 72 today.
Get fucked.
Screw you.
There's
How you say eat a bag of dicks?
got to be something good about living here, you know?
Otherwise, it's just Texas.
It's like a whole other country. If you're stupid.
All right. So winter now. Here's one of the things. Do you remember there being more snow when we were younger?
I think that's just a memory illusion.
I think it's got to be, especially considering some of the near record snowfalls have been in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Because I think when it happened, we were out on it more. We spent like more hours of the day actually in the snow instead of trying to avoid it. And so it felt longer.
You wish it felt longer.
No, I know it's longer. But the snow, I mean, I don't wish that was longer.
The snow is longer.
It's longer?
Warmer.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
There's less snow, less of that snow for sure.
There's a lot less of that snow, thank goodness.
No.
Yeah.
No, it just seemed like when I was a kid there was a lot. I mean, just more, but I think it's just because I was shorter.
Yeah, I think that's got to be it. Because I can recall it wasn't so many years ago, got to be about 5 years ago, where we were completely snowed in. Couldn't get cars out.
Oh,
Could
yeah.
barely open the doors.
Yeah, I remember that because I got a call from work and they're like, "Oh, nobody can make it in. Can you get in here?" I'm like, "I can't even see my car." That was 2006? No.
No, it had to have been like 2008 or 2009.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when I was living in the garden apartment in Oak Park, and I was living right next to Fenwick, and whenever the snowplows would come, they would push all the snow out of the streets into the cars that were parked in the spots that we paid for through the city of Oak Park. And I didn't have a shovel because I was living in an apartment. So why do I need a shovel? The landlord does it for you. Well, when your car's buried in all the snow from the street, I had to get like a dustpan and try and dig it out. Yeah.
Wait, a dustpan?
And you're gonna laugh at me?
Well, what else was I going to do? I couldn't get out to get a shovel.
He had gloves.
Right. I had winter gear.
Winter weird gear?
I'm not even drinking. I had winter wear and
That's
gear.
totally acid.
Exactly. I just didn't have a proper shovel to get the car out. That's all.
Now, I recall us living in Oak Park, and there was this overnight snow, and I know Dennis and his then girlfriend were there, and who else was the other person that was there with us? Was it Jay? Because
He was living in the apartment on the other side of my building.
yeah, Dennis
That
was.
one?
I mean, we got snowed in so bad. It was like there was me and Susie and Dennis and whoever he was dating at the time, and another couple, and we got snowed in, and we're like, "You're not going. Nobody's going anywhere." And all I remember is all the guys wound up sleeping on the floor and the couch in the living room, and all three women shared our king size bed, and none of the guys could get any sleep.
Well,
Was it
'cause
like-
it won't-
You're into bed together.
Just thinking about their parts are so close together.
Are you guys gonna do it?
Dennis is just standing outside the door all night going, kiss.
No kiss. And then we had to walk down to the hardware store that was over by the pizza place on Lake in Harlem. No, Chicago in Harlem. Get a shovel that I still have and shovel out our our cars before the tow truck came by to tow all the cars off of Chicago Avenue so the plow can get through.
Yeah,
That sucked.
that's living in Oak Park,
Yeah.
parking wise.
Don't care if you can't find your car. We're going to ticket and tow you.
Yep,
I don't know
pretty
why.
much.
I'm in Texas.
Right?
Yeah, that was about the least Oak Park accident.
Call it as you see it.
It's
Yeah,
better.
I was like, yeah, I was right the first time. Accident.
But I mean, I think you're right. I mean, now that I think about it, I'm just thinking about current weather conditions here. I mean, we've had probably 3 heavy snows so far that I had to actually shovel. But other than that, I mean, right now there's been no snow on the ground for a few days now, and most of it is gone. That was all piled up in giant piles everywhere.
Yeah, shoveling the last like 6 or 7 years has been especially a bane for me because now that I'm in the house, we've got that long driveway where you could fit 6, 7 cars,
Ugh.
and don't own a snowplow, and you just have to hand shovel all of it.
That
And
sounds fun.
oh, it's fucking awful. And what was a chore at 30 is a danger at 40. Like I would not be surprised if I just didn't like keel over.
Is it that bad?
It's really bad. It's when there's more than a foot of snow out there. It's a good 5-6 hours of work. And
Just
when
get
you're in the
yourself a flamethrower.
yeah, I need to get myself a snowblower. And before that, I was in the city in a neighborhood that regularly practiced dibs.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hate that.
Oh,
What?
my God.
What?
It just makes your neighborhood look so trashy.
Basically,
you don't
oh god, dibs.
No, what is this?
This
You don't
is
know what dibs are?
Uh-uh.
they'll take lawn furniture or cones or
Weight
chairs,
benches.
Couches.
yeah, and dump them into parking spots so that while their cars aren't there, no one else can park there. And it's a system that operates entirely on the threat of if you move my junk out of the spot and park your car there, I'll fuck up your car.
Welcome to Chicago, folks.
Huh.
Because I cleared this spot, and if you dare to, to use it, well, we're gonna fight.
I mean, I get
And-
the logic, but
And what's rough is sometimes it's not even something that they cleared out. They threw the cones down there as soon as the first snow hit. And it's like, this is my parking spot until April. I own this.
Yeah.
It's some bullshit.
I know not too long ago, a couple of years ago, I know the city came by and was like, all right, we're just collecting up all this shit that you guys are leaving around and getting rid of it. But I don't think it worked out that well.
why were they messing up the city's property?
I have no idea what happened, but it was just one of those like all sorts of shit hit the fan about just, I mean, they were, I'm not joking when I say couches. They would throw a love seat out there. I mean, it's nuts.
Like
I'd
saws
only-
and ladders and
Oh, yeah.
all kinds of shit.
I would go ballistic if I shoveled a spot and someone put a chair in it.
Yeah. Now, the shoveling sucks. Now, I think it was 2006 or so, whatever. What had those days where it's like I came out and they're like, can't come to work, but I can't find my car. And we had a good, I want to say 4 or 5 feet of snow out in the, and I live in the cul-de-sac, so we are the last to get plowed. And that sucks. Because they'll kind of like once over it. Yeah, here you have some salt, have a plow, but then they won't come back for like a day. The entire cul-de-sac came out and was great in one big like unifying effort. We all, as a group, shoveled one driveway, moved to the next one, shoveled the next one, moved to the next one, except for one douchebag who lived across the street from me, whose wife came out and shoveled. They had a snowblower. She took care of the driveway, and then he came out to put the snowblower away and was like, "Oh, you guys need some help with the snow?" And we're like, "Yeah, come on out, join us." And he's like, "All right, here." And then he left his snowblower out there and was like, "All right, I'm going inside. You just use that." And we're just like, "You dick."
Well, I mean, granted, his snowblower loaning is worth like 4 people shoveling.
Oh yeah,
So.
totally. But you know what? I mean, come on, you're snowblower. You should get out there and suffer with us.
Right. It's a community effort.
But then at the same time, when he moved out, he took like all the copper wire out of the house. We looked in the window. He took the island out of the kitchen, that sort of thing. So that's the kind of guy he was.
But he left the snowblower.
Yeah, he left his snowblower. That was kind of weird. So, Pat, have you ever shoveled anything?
Yeah, I've shoveled at your house, damn it.
You did?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
The first snowfall of the year, I shoveled your driveway and your sidewalk and all that shit for you. You don't remember that?
No.
And I've done it before anyway. When I lived at Concordia, I did it a couple of times.
Oh, very nice.
Like, during the...
Well, thank you.
You shoveled Concordia?
Yeah, like around your car and stuff,
Huh.
You don't remember having to do that?
No.
It's not like maintenance came out.
Yeah, not like they would shovel anything in Concordia.
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't go anywhere when it happened. I'm like, I'll wait.
Yeah,
Pat's like,
I've shoveled plenty here and there, but I mean, not as much as like guys that own houses and stuff like that.
Well, so
I've done enough to know that I don't want to do it. I know that.
Guy, the three of us that actually shovel, what's your strategy for shoveling?
I usually take the long side and do one strip, and then go short across using the strip I've shoveled as a starting point, and go across, throw, push, pack with the shovel, and just do that. And once I've hit the end of the strip that I've shoveled, I just push another one.
Did you see that video the guy put up on Reddit about a week ago or so about tying a rope to your shovel makes it like, changing the fulcrum and everything makes it easier on your back and all that kind of shit?
Tying rope to your shovel? What?
Yeah.
And if you tie another shovel to the other end of that rope, you have shovel chucks.
I smelled Chuck Norris movie. For me, since I live on a slight hill, to get to my garage.
You ever live on a flat ground?
Only in apartments, never in a house. All my houses have had hills. So even growing up, I will, because it's not a super long driveway. So depending on how heavy the snow is, I'll take one side and I'll kind of shovel the snow and then pitch that off to the side. So I've got one strip on one side. I'll go to the other side, do the same thing. And then I'll just go back and forth, pushing to one side or the other. So pushing it off, shoveling it up, going the other way, pushing it off, shoveling it up. And then it takes me about, depending on how heavy the snow is, an hour maybe to do the whole driveway. And then I'll make sure you got to clear where the mailbox is, or they won't deliver your mail. They send a little diagram of how it has to look. So I'll shovel that, and then I'll push it away from my driveway to try and lessen the snowplow's dickishness. But he always likes to pile a bunch of it in front of my driveway like a dick.
I feel your pain because I am at the 9 o'clock hour on the cul-de-sac. So he comes in on the right-hand side, plows, hits 9 o'clock where my house is. And for some reason, we get all the shit right on that corner. And then I don't really have a big car, so it's kind of like vaulting to get it into there. And I'll say, if I don't, like in the morning, if I don't shovel when it's snowing, there have been times where I have not been able to get my car in the garage because I can't get traction on my fucking driveway.
Yeah, I noted this year on our village website, they actually showed there was like a PDF of how to shovel where you can't get plowed in, where they show the direction of the plow. It's going to go downstream. You have to dig kind of a pocket for the snow to go into, and it won't block your driveway. It seems like a lot of extra work, but I think it probably, in those really heavy snow times, would kind of save the effort of having to re-unblock the driveway because the plow plowed you in. Yeah, I don't know. We were talking with this first heavy snowfall. I just couldn't get out before it got so cold that I couldn't shovel anymore. So I was the one asshole on the street. Like everybody else's walk is shoveled and ours wasn't, and our drive wasn't shoveled. I just had to use momentum to get in and out of the garage and all the way down the driveway until it practically melted.
Asshole.
Yeah, I finally shoveled the walk like 3 days before it all melted.
You shoveled the sludge.
The snow.
Well, basically just enough to not get a ticket and to clear the sidewalk that I legally should have.
Do you have a housing like HOA that would come by and be like, "Oh, your driveway's not clean"? That sort of.
We don't have an HOA, but it is a village ordinance. I don't think it's actually enforced, but I could tell that we were the only house that you could see in either direction that hadn't done the walk.
Okay.
I'm lucky that I live on the bad part of town, so they don't care.
Nobody gives
That's
a
the least of their concerns.
Right. As long as nobody's getting shot, we're okay. But what was I going to say? Damn it. Now I forgot because I made a joke about getting shot, which isn't funny.
Depends on where you get shot.
That's true.
Get shot in the humerus. Oh.
See what you did there.
Let's
Oh,
see.
no, I remember. I have sidewalks, but because I'm like the last house, and then there's no house behind me, no house to the side of me, and it's a cornfield on the other side. My sidewalks that are there, they're like Shel Silverstein sidewalks. They just end. So one goes out about, I don't know, 10 feet and ends, and the other one goes out about 30 feet and ends. So I really don't
That's
have
what the book was about.
Right. I don't have to shovel them because nobody walks on them. So I just make sure my front door is shoveled. So if I'm getting a package or something, it's clear, but that's it.
Getting a package. I know what that means.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. When are you coming over anyway? I'm still waiting on my package.
Are we still talking about shoveling?
It sucks.
I don't think.
No.
More about getting plowed.
All right. So, if for people who actually live in a place where there is a change in temperature, meaning Patrick, you can set this one out at night. Do you drop the temperature in your home at all?
Oh, we're skipping 2 points?
Are we?
Oh,
Winter food and drink. Sorry, food and drink. What sort of things do you food and drink up right now?
Stew. Nothing better than making a big pot of stew at in the wintertime.
Yeah,
coffee.
stuff.
There are 2 things in winter that have become a sort of a tradition. One I haven't made in a couple of years, but I'm going to start again now. That's Black Forest cookies.
Oh,
For years, when we couldn't afford to buy everybody on our list Christmas presents, we'd just do tins of baked goods. And what I would always contribute are Black Forest cookies, which are the chocolate chip that you add the cherry flavored craisins to.
They're African American forest cookies.
You and your craisins.
Dude, the cherry flavored craisins, especially in a cookie or other baked goods, they taste better than dried cherries. They've got an intense cherry flavor.
you have had a for craisins for as long as I've known you.
That's
when
true.
they were first released, Josh was like, it said try craisins. And of course, Josh had to buy them because he listens to what they say. And
3 times.
none of us like them except Josh. And he's been a huge fan of them ever since.
Yeah, I really do like them, but this was I forget where.
I like craisins. I didn't realize that this was a point of contention we were having.
Mike's the only smart one here, then.
Have you had the other flavors like the blueberry and the cherry?
No, just craisins.
I've had all of them, but the cherry are awesome in cookies. And the other thing that is not craisin related is that Sarah and I have been doing mulled wine for years now.
Mm.
Get a nice bottle of red wine with a cinnamon clove, allspice, in a little like cheesecloth sachet, and you just throw it in there, and you just cook it slowly for a couple of hours, and it's delicious.
We're all about, well, Suzanne and I are about the cider.
Oh.
Cider with rum.
And cinnamon sticks.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine, went over to his house, a guy I work with, that made something like that minus the rum. I forget what was it bourbon in it or?
Yeah, sounds about right. But see, now
That
there's
was delicious.
new rules. I have to pay attention and have to only can drink the stuff that has the Post-it note that says it's okay to drink ever since I drank the potpourri. Like-
I know another
He's not
popular variant on that cider is the apple pie moonshine,
Oh yeah.
where you take like a gallon of apple juice, and a gallon of apple cider, and a bunch of cinnamon sticks in a big pot. And as you cook it down, you replace the missing water with Everclear or other grain alcohol.
My brother makes that, and it's killer because he's got. We'll go over to his house for a party or something, and in the cooler, he's got a jug that just has a skull and crossbones written on it, and no. So,
Well, yeah, because you've got the sugar super saturates as it's cooking down, and Everclear itself has kind of that delayed blast hit, so you don't realize how alcoholic it is. So it's like
Yeah.
2-3 cups will take a big guy out.
and I am a big guy, and I will say yes, that is true. Especially because you're not. It's one of those guided missile type drinks because you drink it, the missile flies over your right shoulder, doubles back, and hits you right in the back of the head. So, staying warm. Do you guys just jack up the heat, or do you have a strategy on that sort of thing?
I
Now that we're paying the bills,
don't. This house has a. I don't know whether they just don't have any insulation in the walls. If it's because there needs to be more insulation around the ducts in the basement, or whether there's no insulation in the roof. But it does not retain heat whatsoever, except in the bathroom. So I keep
Why
it
do
at
the
about
bathrooms always hold the most heat?
because they're enclosed spaces, I guess. I mean, it's the only real truly finished room in the whole house.
and they're small. And
right.
the bathroom right off in the main area of my house is directly above the heater.
Same with mine. So if you're cold in the winter, you go into the restroom to warm up because it's the hottest room in the house. So I can't really. I mean, I keep it at about 69 or 70. I turned it up to 71 after the thermostat busted and I had to fix it. And so it's a little better, but it's
One, goddamn man, you guys are like. That's right now. Our heater is set at 67.
I was going to say, I think mine is usually at like 68 or 69. We've got a solid thermostat. Of course, the last 3 places I lived before this house all had heat issues because I lived at the apartment on Irving Park Road that was all old style radiator. And we were on the 2nd floor, and there were 2 inhabitable floors above us. So we had no control over our own heat. So they had it cranked up enough so the people on the top floor weren't cold, which meant we had to do the Brooklyn thermostat, which is where you have to crack a window open more or less, depending on how tolerable you want it to be, because it's 105 degrees in your apartment.
Yep, that was the Oak Park radiators everywhere. Big, large saucepan of water sitting on top of the radiators, and the windows open.
Then in the Flesher house, we lived in the basement, which of course wasn't insulated, so it was freezing all the time. And then before that, we lived in the condo in Hyde Park, which was weird because the person who lived below you basically controlled your heat because of the odd way they had the heating register set up. They were all in the ceilings.
Oh, weird.
So yeah, you would have, if the person 2 floors below you didn't have their heat up high enough, the person 1 floor below you, if they didn't know that, they would crank their heat and we'd have to run the air conditioner.
That's crazy shit.
yeah, backward engineering there.
Yeah, I'm glad to finally be in a space where I can control my own heat, set it at 68 or 69, and just like the furnace is good, it's new.
Yeah, I've got a new. I mean, this furnace is only as long as I live here, 4 years old, and I know I'm losing heat, so I don't crank it up more than I maybe it's more than it should be, but if I had proper insulation, I wouldn't have to probably.
Now, on the topic of heating, quite a few years ago, we had our heater go out, and it was one of those things like first off, I'm not going to mess with anything that has to do with the gas system in the house, just because me.
You are the gas system.
Yeah, that's wise.
Yeah. So it was one of those things where like the heater would kick off. I go down there, open up the door on the control panel, and it would start up, close it up again, and it would start and it would go for a while, and then for some reason it would shut off later on. So I called. It was like one of those where who do you call to check on the heater, and you pass.
I wasn't gonna do it.
Yeah, pass up a couple places on the way, and I saw one. I was like, okay, I'll call this place that's in town, and we'll see, what's going on. Well, they came in, and they told Suzanne that the heat exchange was cracked. So I get a call from her at work, and I'm like, she says the heat exchange is cracked. He left all these brochures for buying new heaters from them, and we're talking like a new heater for a whole house. That's quite a bit of cash. So she's freaking out, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. They, your heater, the heat exchange is cracked. You need a new heater. And then they left her with that. Well, at that time I worked for the grocery store. So I looked, I'm trying to think about it. And I look down and I see the business card of the HVAC company that took care of all the Illinois Trader Joe's. And I was like, okay, well, what's the worst they can say is no. So I called them, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I got this company came in. They said our heat exchange is broken. Can you guys just check it out? Well, it turns out one of their technicians lived nearby, so he stops by. Turns out it was a circuit board in the heater that was bad, and he had one in the truck. So he, goes back to the truck. He replaces it. Comes back and like, what do we owe you? He's like, yeah, it's $50. So we give him $50 and a bottle of wine because we had that, because everybody loves wine.
Right. Yeah.
And then he tells me that if the heat exchange was actually cracked, they should have shut off and tagged the heater as a hazard, as an explosion hazard.
So he was obviously lying.
Right. So here's the thing: is that now the heating is working, and then the guy who owns the original heating company that we called to check it out calls us back, and he's like, so when do you want us to come out and install your new heater? Which model did you have your eye on? And I'm like, you know what? I had one of my an HVAC guy come out and took a look at it, and he said that it's fine, replace the circuit board, and we don't need a new heater, and it's under warranty for 20 years. So here's my thing. If it actually was correct, you guys should have shut it down and tagged it as a hazard. So are your technicians crooked or stupid?
Sorry.
And for some reason, then he started calling me every name in the book. He's like, and I think the last thing he said before I hung up on him was, you'll be back because you're going to be freezing your ass off. It has been at least 10 years and that heater is still running fine.
Yep.
Which means tonight it's going to blow out on us.
Yeah, but you'll be back though.
Yeah. Check out your references. So that was a long story for no real payout, but sorry.
No, it's still a good story.
Fuck that guy.
I like stories.
That's the moral of that story.
Well, I remember when I was still living in Kansas City before moving out here, there was during one of the ice storms, the power lines went down for a week.
That's an movie.
What? Oh, the ice storm. And nobody in the block had power. And it was, I don't know what the temperature was, but it was really freaking cold. And the only choice I had was I had a gas generator. So I had the gas generator right outside the window of the bedroom so I could hear it. And whenever it would run out of gas, I would have to go outside, refill it, and start it up again. So it was enough to keep the bedroom warm, but that was it. So whenever I'd go to take a shower, the water would be hot because the water heater would work, but you take a shower, it's a hot shower, you get out and it's freezing. So, imagine going out at like 2-3 in the morning, walking on ice to get to the gas generator to restart it just so you could go back to sleep again. It sucked. So I hope to God I never have, knock on wood, furnace go out during weather like that.
That's gotta suck.
Yeah.
We one of my winters I lived up in Rogers, well, not Rogers Park. I was in Uptown at this point, and I actually lost some pets because of the freeze knocked out. It might have actually been that 1995 year, but the freeze knocked out our power, and we were just we had to like sit in the living room with all the space heaters we had on generators, and the pets that were living in the sunroom in aquariums just literally froze to death. I couldn't do anything about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
That sucks.
yeah. It was 2 snakes and 2 iguanas that I just literally we couldn't. We got as many of the pets in the room with us as we could, but couldn't get them all. I had too many. And
That's
by
rough.
the next morning, they literally froze to death.
that sucks.
Yeah.
So I note that the point that Micah tried to jump ahead to was how low do you put your temp at night? You put that question there because I assume you adjust yours?
Yeah, we
Huh.
turn it down every night. We go from 60, about like I said, 68 down to maybe 62. We don't do it. Apparently, you're not supposed to go below 60 because then you can freeze up the pipes. But yeah, my thing is like each of us has like 3-4 blankets on the bed, so we drop the temperature down, and just in the morning though, I'll tell you, that's even better than a very loud alarm.
I believe it. Yeah, we don't adjust ours in the slightest. I think, yeah, of course, the gas bills are higher in the winter, but the electric bills are lower, so we barely notice the change. Just pretty much run it the same all the time.
I do that
Yeah.
too. I just leave mine on a constant temperature year round.
Oh, shut up.
I'm on the balance billing, so
Well, it does get hot here too, during the summers.
I don't think any of us feel bad for you.
Does your furnace actually kick on at some point in the winter?
Occasionally. I mean, I got my air on right now. So
Oh, jeez.
Son of a bitch. I'm downstairs in the basement in a coat, a sweater, 2 shirts, pants, jeans, and I'm freezing.
And a lovely stole.
Pants and jeans?
I'm wearing a t-shirt and pajants, and
The air is on.
Wait, did you say pajants?
yeah,
What is that?
Pants.
pajama pants, pajants.
I have never in my life heard anybody say pajants.
You've never. That's a phrase I've used forever.
Not
Not
around.
a phrase, a word I've used.
I'm.
Never heard me say pajants.
I've never heard you say pajants.
Pajants,
That's crazy.
pajants, 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 pajants.
I mean, that's the standard gift that I get every year. From if nobody can think about what to give me, then I just get them a pair of pajants.
Oh, pajama pants are awesome, but I've
That's
never.
what I call them. Yeah.
Wasn't that a song by ABBA? Take a chance on me. Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance.
That's hard to do, isn't it?
I don't know.
Harder than I thought.
Chance.
Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance. That is pretty hard.
You guys do anything outside? Now, I mean, like we did skiing and sledding, and that's
Ever? No, not really.
I try not to. I'm more of an indoor kid.
I avoid going outside as much as possible.
Yep.
Shoveling is about it because
Outside is where
like the winter.
stuff is. Forget that.
I go for walks in the morning.
Ugh.
What?
Yes. Yeah, it's. I
What,
mean,
George Burns? I don't know what that meant.
reaching
George
for
Burns, known for he's famous for going on walks. Apparently,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about. How are you supposed to know?
That's
Say
right.
goodnight.
I go for walks. I mean, I like it's.
What are you, George Burns?
Jesus
Sorry.
Christ.
I have found myself needing to go outside more, of course, since getting the dog, since that's where he goes to the bathroom, assuming that I'm taking him out often enough.
You got a toilet trainer like I did mine. Nothing funnier than a pit bull on a toilet.
Except a bulldog riding a wooden pony.
Oh, that's actually real.
Yes, it is, and it's
I
very
know.
funny.
It is.
But no, I don't. I avoid it personally. That's why I have a fenced-in yard.
Okay, a fenced-in yard is still outside.
Right, but I can let the dogs out and I don't have to walk them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your dogs are probably big enough where hawks won't just like swoop down and kill them if you're not out there with them.
Yeah, no, they're not. they're not that
Yeah, no hawk is going to carry off a basset hound.
Right.
That'd be
Lucy's
one
about
big fucking hawk.
Lucy's about 46 pounds and Tucker's about 62.
Yeah, where
Wow.
Chewie's like 8.
I can't believe that my dog is bigger than yours. I thought the basset hounds would be bigger. Lucy weighs 78 pounds last time I weighed her.
Yeah, no, they're all muscle though too. Yours are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yours
yeah,
is.
she's a beast.
She's almost 10 times the weight of my dog.
God. So Joel, do you ever taken the kids sledding?
Yeah, I mean, I've gone sledding with them before. I mean, I didn't participate, but and they like to go out. They used to. I don't know so much anymore, but they used to like to go out and roll around in the snow and try and build snowmen, and they seem to like it out there. Not so much now that they have to kind of help shovel every once in a while or have to deal with going out there for school and stuff. But
Yeah, the kids out here, they would, when we had the mass of kids next door, they would go out. Then last year or the year before, they built like a living room. They built a couch and a coffee table and a love seat and made like a TV and all that out there
with the snow.
with the snow. Yeah,
That was pretty. I was there for that. That was pretty awesome. I got
that was pretty damn cool.
yeah.
and
There's a couch. I walk out and there's a snow couch just sitting in the front yard. I'm like, okay.
Good on you. But I'm a big fan of when I would take them sledding when they were little, and it was one of those, especially Sophie, my younger one, was a little wound up. Pat can attest to this, but she's calmed down over the last couple of years. But we were like, hey, you gonna go sledding? Yeah, Daddy, you gonna slide with me? You gonna go sledding with me? Yeah, I'm gonna go sledding with you. All right, here, let me put you in the sled. All right, cool. You ready? I'm gonna get in the sled with you, and then I just kick him down the hill. The only time where I had a heart attack in that situation is when Sophie, I put her in the sled. All right, you gonna go down with me? Yeah, sure. Let me just get situated here. And I got up and just pushed her, gave her like the kick, and she's going down on her own. And unfortunately, she hooked to the left and was going right for one of those outdoor tables, like a picnic table.
Oh.
Thankfully, though, she was wearing a snowsuit and she fell down in the sled, so she couldn't get back up. So she slid completely under the picnic table, which was grateful for me not having to explain bloody children when I brought them home. But no, we like sledding. I mean, sledding is now they do things like put bales of hay at the end of the sled run. So our goal is to get going fast enough that we can take out a bale of hay.
Or leave a mic shaped hole in it.
Oh, yeah. And I'm telling you, there's some parents that got to get some serious control over their kids at the bottom of that hill.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, the kid, they send the kid down there, or they sled down there, and the dad or whatever gets up, and he's picking up the sled, but not actually actively watching where his kid is going. So I'm saying, if you're not watching where your kid is going at the bottom of a sled hill, and not saying that I have, if I take your kid out when I'm on my way down, it is not my fault.
Well, the kids should be paying more attention too.
Oh, yeah. But I will say, a kid that is airborne in a snowsuit is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
It
It's
does
like
have a lot of comedic value.
it's like an airborne starfish.
I just imagine Maggie Simpson.
Yeah. So what else we got here?
I can't move my arms.
My arms won't go down.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, my arms won't go down.
Does anyone actually know anyone that got a body part stuck to a metal pole?
No.
Not a tongue.
I want no more information.
And just like that, I'm done.
Yeah. I have not myself, but I'm sure somebody out there has at some point.
No, I can't recall anybody that was stupid enough to do that.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that did that.
I heard about it happening when I was in elementary school, but never saw it.
No, not here. All right, so you think we've beaten winter down enough at this point?
I sure hope so, but I think we're still going to have to endure it for 3 more months.
Oh God, don't remind me.
Friggin' no. All right. So what do we got on tap for next week?
Next week, we are going to actually be doing a slightly different kind of show. We're going to be talking about remakes, but for then, we're going to talk about a bunch of classic films that were never remade that we would like to see as remakes in the next couple of years. We hope to feature on the show someday, but we haven't heard of any rumors. And then for now, we're going to be talking about remakes that are coming up that are likely to be featured in their own episodes on the show.
Yeah. So it's like stuff that we enjoyed and stuff that we want to see.
And almost like a upcoming preview of the year.
Right. So we're going to take a look and see what remakes coming out in 2017 and what our wish list is on that sort of thing. So
yeah, it's interesting because usually everything we have has a direct link between then and the now. We are going to have a bunch of thens with no nows, and then a bunch of nows that are yet to come for the second half of the show. So it's kind of an interesting spin on our usual format.
Right. All right. So, and if you're looking for, like I said before, if you're looking for our older stuff, you can find us on iTunes, Blueberry, Stitcher, and TalkShoe. And if you want to call us and tell us what happened when you were a kid or now in the wintertime, you can call us at 708-NOW-RAP. That's 708-669-9727.
And of course, you can always email us at 40go14@gmail.com. Reach out to us on Twitter at 40go14 or hit up the Facebook page. Just search for 40 Going on 14 podcast.
Mm-hmm. You can even call us off the Facebook page.
That's true.
Sure. All right. Go make a snowman at 11 o'clock at night.
No, you're not.
No.
I'm Mr. Snow Miser. I'm Mr. Cold.
Mr. Heat Miser. That's all I know. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right. Good show. All right. Now the frantic 2 days for me. Mike, stuff I have to pick up list tomorrow is like a scavenger hunt put together by an insane person.
Nice.
It's like I need to get a beret, a 13-pound goose, 3 limes, 5 lemons, Chinese 5-spice powder.
Wait.
Here's of a koala bear.
Go back to the goose thing. Is that are you serious? Or
I was assuming it's a frozen goose.
Well, they should have already been thawing it for the last day. But
I'm just saying it's not a live goose. Is my point.
No, it's not a live goose. No, we're doing roast goose for the dinner party.
Nice.
So
most
you
of the
actually
stuff.
use the phrase "my goose is cooked" at some point, and
Yes,
that would happen. Yeah, I have to get a case of Mexican Coke.
ooh,
I love
good
Mexico.
Costco.
Woodman's out by us.
Ah.
Has it in the glass bottles too.
I'm hoping to find a spot to get to the beret where I don't have to go all the way to the costume shop in the city or Hats Plus.
Go to.
Why don't you go to Berets R Us? It's in the Beret district.
Why didn't I think of that?
Wait, what town do you live in again, Josh?
I'm in Hoffman, but I'm on the Schaumburg side, so
Mike's got a beret guy.
right by Woodfield.
All right. Go to. Is Lombard close to you?
No,
No.
no, you're talking like what's close? You've got Mount Prospect isn't too far. We're like northwest.
Okay, because okay, there you are. I would say find an army surplus
Yeah, that might work.
for a beret because I know they got those sitting around there. So that would be my best guess.
Yeah, especially considering I have to spend the first couple of hours waiting in the line for that beer.
Boy.
Well, I don't have to, but I really want to.
All right, guys. Good show. I'm going to get some sleep.
Yeah,
Word.
good idea.
Later, guys.
No.